Welcome to CAS and five-finger summary and BoxPlots. This is just a quick brief run through predominantly for transition. I will create another one for next year properly. All right, so we're starting again with our CAS. We're pressing the on button and we're selecting a new document. I'm not going to save anything. I never tend to save anything. I always forget and delete it anyway. Now this time round, instead of using calculator, I'm going to start with add lists and spreadsheets. So I can either press the number 4 on my keypad here, or I can use my up and down buttons and then the center button to select for add lists and spreadsheets. This looks a bit like an Excel spreadsheet. Pretty much is. All right, so what I need to start by doing is naming my data. So I use the up arrow and I get up to this box here next to the letter A. So we're in column A and I need to name my data. So today I'm going to call him data. As you note down the bottom, we've got a keypad. We've got a sort of a proper keyboard. It's not in QWERTY style. It's in proper alphabetical order. So it does get pretty confusing when you're trying to find your letters and you can't remember your alphabet. So I'm going to call that data. Then I press my down arrow and I start in row 1. The data for our warm-up we used was 22. Then I press enter. 17, enter, oops, 30, enter, 21, enter, 29, enter, 25, enter, oops, 18, 25, 33, 24, and 21. Okay, so I've got 11 numbers. Now, once you've entered your last number from the data set, ensure that you press enter. This then stores every single number in this column. And the blue box ends up just below. Now, first things first, I want to find the 5-number summary. In order to do that, I need to press my menu button. So I've got on doc menu, I'm using menu, and then I have to go down to number 4. So I'm going to use my up and down arrows, oops. So I'm currently sitting at number 1. I'm going to use my down arrows to go to number 4, click my center button, and I need 1 for statistics calculations. We're using 1 variable statistics. We'll move on to 2 variable when we get to bivariate data, but at the moment we just need 1 variable. So click enter. 1 variable statistics. Keep the number of lists as 1. So to get down, I press my tab button on the left hand side and it highlights the OK button and I press enter. Now with this X1 list, I need to change this to what my data set is called. If I press the right arrow twice, it drops down with what my data set is, and then I press my down arrow, select data, select the center button, and then just press tab the whole way through to OK and the center button again. Now this gives me a heap of information. I'm going to start at the top. So we've got our title. We've found 1 variable statistics. Now this X bar is the mean. The sigma x and the sigma x squared are the sum and the sum squared. You don't need to know any of that at the moment. Then we get to S of x and sigma of x, little sigma, not big sigma. And they're our standard deviations. Then we get to the information that we actually need. So the n is the number of, or the quantity within our data set. And we've got 11 numbers. Then we end up with our min x, which is our minimum number, 17. Our Q1x, which is our quadrant 1 figure. Then we end up with our median of 24, Q3x, and our max x. So we've got all the information we need here in our 5 figures or 5 number summary. So a minimum, a Q1, Q2 or median, Q3 and our maximum value. So going through that again, it was menu, 4 for statistics, 1 for stats calculations, and 1 variable statistics. I'm going to escape out of that. Going back to my data set, I've got my 5 number summary. I can convert this into a box plot onto a graph if I wanted, onto graph paper if I wanted to, but I'm going to make it easier on myself, and I'm going to get the calculator to do it for me. So I press Control and Dock, and it gives me this pop-up again, and it's going to create a new page. So having a look at the little blue font above the document button, and it says plus page. So we're creating a second or third page after that spreadsheet. Now, instead of going to lists and spreadsheets, this time now I'm going to be going to data and statistics. So I use my up and down arrows to select data and statistics, and I get a dot plot, or more of a scatter plot. Now what I need to do is I need to use my mouse. It's a little bit awkward on this. This button in the middle is actually a mouse. So you can hold it and you can scroll back and forth. But on mine, it doesn't work quite as well. So I come down to this bottom axis, the x-axis, and I click on it. I select my data set, which I've labeled data, and I end up with a dot plot. Pretty useless, but serves its purpose in other aspects later. In order to change this to a box plot, I click on our menu button and select the plot type. Plot type, it's currently a dot plot. I want a box plot. I click on box plot. Now if I hover over any of these points, so the first bit there, my quartile 1, my median, quartile 3, and my maximum, these are the same figures that I found. I'll just double check. So our minimum is 17, quartile 1 is 21. Minimum was 17, quartile 1 was 21. I'm just jumping between pages, which you can do as well using your cursor to scroll up towards the top of the page. Back to my box plot. This will give me my 5-figure summary. So I didn't need to go through the steps of finding the one variable, doing the one variable analysis if I didn't want to do it, as this actually gives me all the information as well. If at any point, just throwing it out there, you wanted to change the type of plot, we can. Let's go to a histogram. Oops, wrong one. If you press the wrong button, you just hit press escape. Menu, let's try go back to a dot plot. And we'll go back to a box plot. So we can change, if you select the wrong plot or the wrong graph you needed, it's okay because we can actually alter it to what you want. We will be moving on to other types of plots, graphs, etc. in forthcoming videos.